everybody! I'm super excited. Today we are gonna make a really healthy plant-based bowl that is both delicious and easy on the budget. So I'm going a little like Asian / Indian style with this. I don't know what this is, but it's $10 for 4 servings. And it's delicious. That's all you need to know. So it's $2.50 a serving, and you're gonna get a ton of vitamins and minerals, all of your micros, all your fat, carbs, and protein that you need. So let's get started. I have already done a lot of the pre-work, so I'm not gonna go through like actually roasting the peppers, but I'm gonna cut the peppers with you. So I have poblanos, and they are for 3 huge poblanos. It was, I wrote it down, one sec, $1.50. So you can use even, like red peppers or green peppers or whatever you want here, and it'll be equally as awesome. This is what I had, and I just really like the taste of poblanos. So yeah, and what I did is I roasted them over a open flame. I have a gas stove, which is awesome. So I was able to like have the open flame. It'll work if you have an electric stove as well. You may not get like as clean of a char, but your stove should still get hot enough to allow the peppers to get charred. So for sure, use this method when at all possible. And if not, just throw them in the oven, but do something with them. Another reason I love charring them is because you don't need to use oil. I'm a really big fan of oil-free cooking because it adds extra fat and calories, and really oil is processed and expensive. So when you cook and you're like roasting your peppers over an oven, you don't need to use any oil, and they have this delicious taste and no extra cost of money. So that's awesome too. Okay, so I'm on my 3rd pepper, and I'm just slicing this into strips. I like strips. I like big, thick, like chunky pieces, but you do what you want. This is so much more about really intuitive cooking and working with what you like, working with textures you like, working with taste, all of that stuff. Okay, so I have 4, I don't know if you can see this, but I have 4 containers here. Well, I have 3 containers like this, and then I have a bowl that I'm gonna eat for lunch. So with all the ingredients, you can just go ahead and divide it into 4. So I'm just doing that right now. Cool. And I'm gonna go over the breakdown of like cost when we're done cooking. But let's get the food going first. Okay, so the next that I have here is rice that I'm gonna add to the bowls. And I cooked a cup of rice. A cup of rice usually yields about 2 to 3 cups. So again, just dividing that up. And really when I say 4 servings, I mean it could be 3, it could be 5. It really depends on a lot of things. Like, it depends on how tall you are and how much you weigh, how much you like to eat, what feels good. So these are all rough estimates. You can add and you know, have like another serving out of it, depending on how much you eat, or maybe you're just like a really hungry person like I am, and this is 3 servings. For me, this is about 4. This is about 4 of like what I eat. Okay, so rice done. Next is kale. So I just water sauteed this kale, and that is just adding like, you know, 2 to 3 tablespoons of water, and then just basically warming it. Like, you're really not doing very much. Kale doesn't stick to the pan, and you're not using oil. Again, it's just like water, just to kind of like loosen it up a little bit. And plants have these things called lethogens. I think it's called lethogens. And it basically, it's like a thick cell wall. So cooking your plants actually brings down that plant barrier a little bit. So yeah, you don't need to fry your vegetables, but just like, you know, get them a little cooked. So I didn't put any spices on it during cooking, not for this recipe. For the kale and rice, this is about, I just do a little bit of a grinder of pepper, a little bit, like a tiny pinch of salt, and that's good for now. The next component, this one's a little bit trickier. So this is coconut milk and snow peas. I don't know if you can see it. So what I did is I took a can of coconut milk, organic coconut milk, and I brought it to a boil with some snow peas in it. So this kind of softened up the snow peas and gave it a nice texture, and then I just like let it sit. So again, I'm just dividing these into about 4 equal portions. Cool. And next is the spicing of it. Sometimes I spice the milk, the coconut milk, but I just forgot to do that, so I'm spicing it now, which is fine. Okay, so curry is what I'm using, and I love curry. If you don't know if you love curry, or it's not your favorite, obviously, you know, you don't have to use a ton of it, but I like that, so that's what I do. And then I'm just gonna mix it, each one. So healthy cooking doesn't have to take a lot of time or money, and that's really what I want to convey with this. Like, it took me probably about a half hour to roast the peppers, make the rice, saute the kale, and then, you know, warm the coconut milk and the snap peas. But that's really not that long. And then there's one more ingredient we're going to be adding. So through my cookbook too, I learned so much, and I learned about like me and how I cook. And most of the time I don't cook off recipes. I just see what's in my fridge and I just use that. So, and that's like always served me really well. And when you get the basics down of like how to cook, it's not hard, and you get a lot out of it. Okay, so the last component is chickpea croutons. So what I did is I took a can of organic chickpeas, and I rinsed them, and then I put on cumin and curry, and I just like sprinkled it a generous amount on it, and then I set the oven to 400, and I roasted them for 30 minutes. And you can kind of see maybe not really, but they're kind of croutony. Again, not using any oil. I'm all about using natural fats. So the coconut milk that we use has a ton of natural fat in it, which is great. So then you add this to the top of the bowl. And voila. So before we get into like final thoughts and things, I just want to stress the importance of organic. And even things as simple as rice. Non-organic rice has been found to have traces of arsenic in it. And the way that the food is grown and prepared is really, really important. And when it comes to, you know, canned goods too, I use a lot of canned goods in cooking, and it can be very cost effective, but you have to make sure that it's organic and that it's BPA free. And BPA is a really gross chemical that they put in just normal cans. And if you are using just like normal canned goods, you're getting all those chemicals into it. So organic is very important, as well as BPA free for all of your canned goods. So that is it. This is my bowl, and then like this is extra, but I love sriracha, and I'm a really big like hot sauce fan. So I'm just gonna like put some sriracha on top, and I'll show you. Ta-da! So this is so yummy, so nutritious, 4 pretty good sized servings, and $2.50 each. So this was the breakdown. I had so 2 cups of organic rice. That's not right. I used 1 cup. Sorry. I wrote down 2. But so 1 cup of organic rice is about $1. I used brown rice, but you can use basmati, which is even cheaper. That would probably be like 50 cents a serving. But mine was about $1. And then a can of chickpeas, which was $1. A can of coconut milk, which was $1.50. Sugar snap peas, which were $2.50. Kale, which is $2.50, and peppers, which is $1.50. So that whopping total came to $10, and that's 4 really big servings. And the only spices I used was a little bit of salt and pepper, curry, and cumin. And the cumin was on the chickpeas, and then the curry was on the chickpeas, and then the coconut milk mixture. And then I just added sriracha, but you don't have to add that if you don't like heat. So it's a really simple recipe. If you have a family, you can make this a family meal, or if you're single, you can just put this in the fridge and it'll last all week, and it's delicious. So I hope you guys liked it, and enjoy!